Have you ever questioned the truth behind the titles history gives its most famous figures? Alexander the Great, a name that suggests perfection, a life without shadows, a symbol of glory. But what if the man behind the legend was far more complex? Because behind every legend lies a human story, flawed, violent, unpredictable. What if Alexander was not always great? Was he truly worthy of the name in every moment? Few figures in history have been surrounded by a more dazzling aura than Alexander III of Macedon, conqueror of the Persian Empire, founder of cities, and enduring symbol of military brilliance. He evolved into an almost mythical figure soon after antiquity. The title "the Great" was bestowed by later generations, not by those who lived during his lifetime. Yet behind the rapid conquests and the dream of a universal empire, ancient sources reveal a different side of the Macedonian king, impulsive, unforgiving, and at times merciless, even toward those closest to him. Several episodes from his life show how extraordinary military talent often coexisted with acts of extreme violence. Persepolis, the ceremonial capital of the Achaemenid Empire, stood as a powerful emblem of Persian authority. Its palaces safeguarded vast treasures, artistic masterpieces, and archives reflecting centuries of imperial dominance. In 330 BC, Alexander seized the city. Not long afterward, Persepolis was consumed by flames. Ancient writers provide conflicting explanations. Some portray the fire as deliberate revenge for the devastation wrought by Persian forces in Greece during Xerxes' invasion in 480 BC. Others suggest that Alexander, intoxicated, gave the order in a moment of reckless celebration. Regardless of the motive, the destruction of Persepolis was a brutally symbolic act. It signaled the end of the old Persian Empire, yet also cast doubt on the conqueror's restraint and long-term political judgment. Before we go further, if you enjoy exploring ancient European history and uncovering lesser-known stories, consider subscribing to support this channel. At the Macedonian court, Alexander was attended by young noblemen known as pages. One of them, Hermolaus, violated protocol by killing a boar that had been reserved for the king. Alexander punished him publicly, subjecting him to deep humiliation. The disgrace bred anger. Hermolaus, together with other youths and his lover, devised a plan to assassinate Alexander while he slept. The plot failed for a mundane reason. The king spent the night drinking and did not retire at the expected hour. When the conspiracy came to light, the response was severe. The young men were executed by stoning with the consent of the Macedonian court. The episode reveals not only the brutality of the punishment but also the growing atmosphere of fear surrounding the king. Cleitus had once saved Alexander's life at the Battle of the Granicus, cutting down a Persian satrap who was on the verge of killing him. In gratitude, Alexander later appointed him satrap of Bactria. During a banquet held in Cleitus's honor, long-standing tensions resurfaced, inflamed by alcohol. Cleitus insisted that Alexander's achievements owed much to his father, Philip II, and to the Macedonian soldiers. For a ruler cultivating the image of a near-divine, singular leader, such words were unbearable. Seized by fury, Alexander snatched a spear and killed Cleitus. Though remorse followed, the act could not be undone. It remains one of the most disturbing moments of his reign, the slaying of the man who had once preserved his life. During the siege of Gaza, the city's commander, Batis, offered fierce resistance. After the city fell, Alexander demanded his submission, but Batis refused even to speak. Enraged, the king ordered a punishment of shocking severity. Batis was bound to Alexander's chariot and dragged through the city until he died. Alexander claimed he was imitating the Homeric hero Achilles, who dragged Hector around Troy. The crucial difference was that Hector was already dead, whereas Batis was still alive. The act conveyed an unmistakable message. defiance would be punished not only with death, but with public degradation. In 335 BC, the Greek city of Thebes rose against Macedonian domination. Alexander's response was swift and devastating. After taking the city, approximately 30,000 survivors were sold into slavery, and Thebes was almost entirely destroyed. The objective was not merely to punish a rebellious polis, but to send a warning to the rest of Greece. The message was cold and unmistakable. Submission was the only path. Alexander the Great remains one of the most consequential conquerors in history. Yet these episodes of extreme violence reveal that his fame was built not only on strategy and vision, but also on terror. For modern historians, the challenge is not to diminish Alexander, but to understand him in his full complexity. A brilliant commander, yet a man shaped by his era, capable of acts of brutality that still shock today. In the ancient world, greatness was not always synonymous with humanity.